What's going on, guys? Welcome to your second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report for Saturday, November 14th. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning and you continue to have a great day. That is my goal for you today. Now, let's address the news of the day. We have a lot of big news. I want to address some very important things. Okay, we do have some reports as of a double stimulus check. I want to bring that to you. I've talked about this before, but these are coming up again, which is great news for us, the American people. First, we have new statewide lockdowns being issued. This is big. This is something we need to keep in mind. We need to be updated. We need to stay informed as to what's going on, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. We also have another record high for COVID cases. I'll tell you what that number is if you haven't seen that already. And we are seeing our congressional leaders giving out mandates and recommendations to the American people on how to attack and address COVID and social distancing. But then we go and see them just turn around and do the complete opposite of what they just told us to do. I'll explain what I mean at the end of this video. And lastly, or most importantly, the good news is we have news on stimulus. And yes, that includes a double stimulus check. So let's start with the good news first, because I know that's what everybody wants to hear. Everybody loves good news first. And then if you guys want to stay till the end of this video, great. If not, I completely understand. Now, this is going to affect all of us. Okay? The stimulus negotiations, COVID cases, potential lockdowns are going to affect every one of us. And this is why we need to understand what is happening moving forward. So, reports out right now, and this is the good news. According to multiple reports that I saw late last night, the Biden administration seems to prefer the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal over Nancy Pelosi's HEROES Act 2.0. Now, if you remember, the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal came to us, I believe, early September, like the first couple weeks in September. We saw this. And when I saw this, my eyes just lit up. If you remember, even Mark Meadows came out and said that this was the most optimistic he has been, has been more optimistic in the past 72 hours of reading this proposal than he has been in the past 72 days. These were his words directly. And so this was big when we saw this. Now, the reports are indicating that there is a reason why. It's not just because the Biden administration does not like Nancy Pelosi's $2.2 trillion stimulus package. They do like it. They think it's a great package, according to this report. But the first act as president, Joe Biden has been trying to be president for years. I'm not just talking about, since, the Obama administration. I'm talking about, I think he ran like in 1980 something. Like he ran for president years ago, like 30 years ago. And so he's been trying to be president for a while. This is one of his lifelong goals. And so the first act as president, finally getting into the Oval Office, being the commander in chief, he does not want his first act to drag the country back into more debt. That's not what he wants. And so, because of this, he would rather go with a smaller package. However, he will not agree to Mitch McConnell's $500 billion skinny bill. That is not something he is even interested in. He does not even want to entertain the idea, entertain negotiations where we start at $500 billion. He has no interest in doing that. And I completely agree with him. I don't think $500 billion is going to get the economy out of the rut we are currently in. We're not going to be able to beat the virus. We won't be able to give the American people money so that they can pay their bills, pay their rent, put food on the table. $500 billion just won't do that. But the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal would do that. This proposal, if you don't remember, I'm going to read off some of the things that are included in this. Now, the report also indicates that the Biden administration is not set They're not in love with the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal. They would make some modifications and they would have some inclusions. So the modifications, I'm not really sure what they're saying there based on this report. It doesn't really explain that, but it just said there'd be modifications and inclusions, which means they are not taking stuff out per se. So here's what we know would be in this. There's 2 stimulus checks. One would come out pretty much as soon as the stimulus package, this bill is signed, and the next one would come out probably in 3 to 4 months if the economy is still in a rut that we believe we're still going to be in 3 to 4 months. Also, federal unemployment benefits, school funding, rental assistance, $500 billion to state and local government funding, $290 billion for small businesses through PPP loans, liability protections, and funding for testing, tracing, and treatments. This is currently what's in it, and this is seen as the ultimate bill. The best part about this is that the Biden administration prefers this over any other bill currently being presented. Yes, currently being presented. That means Mitch McConnell's $500 billion stimulus package, no, they don't like it. The $1.2 trillion HEALS Act, no, we don't like it. The $2.2 trillion HEROES Act 2.0, it's good, but we don't want that much debt on our name as the first act as president. So, the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, as of right now, is the leader. The leader. Why couldn't we have passed this months ago? Why couldn't we have passed this in September? Why? Why are we waiting till now? However, the biggest problem with this bill is that it is still seen as too expensive for Republicans. And it's because of this that the negotiation between McConnell's HEALS Act and the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal bill will most likely take place. I just want to say the HEALS Act had a lot of stuff missing. Had some stuff we didn't need, but it had a bunch of stuff missing. I think for everybody, the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal was the best proposal we have seen by far. Yes, the HEROES Act, that $3.4 trillion monstrosity, that would be an incredible bill, but it would saddle the U.S. with debt for years. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally would be very happy. I'd be jumping with joy if the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal were to pass. Let me know down in the comment section below. Would you be just jumping with joy? Would you be excited about the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal? That $1.2 to $1.8 trillion package? Let me know down in the comment section below. And I say this because right now the American people need more help than ever before. And until we see this help, it's not going to get any better. Speaking of not getting any better, according to Johns Hopkins University, the United States reported a new record high for cases per day at 181,194 new cases on Friday, November 13th. It also reported 1,389 deaths for yesterday as well. And experts are warning all Americans that we will begin to see days in excess of 200,000 plus cases as seen as early as next week. Within 7 days, count them, 7, we will have a day or multiple days in excess of 200,000 cases per day. That's insane. Just to give you an idea of what experts were predicting that the last week of November, so right around Thanksgiving, and the 2 weeks following, that 3-week timeline, somewhere in that 3-week timeline, we would see cases in excess of 150,000. We are already 31,000 cases on top of that, above that, and we still have about, 2 to 3 weeks to go to get there. This is crazy. It is also because of these surges in cases that as of late, states are now issuing lockdowns once again. Yes, states. Not cities, not counties, not little neighborhoods, states. Chicago, they issued a stay-at-home advisory. In Nevada, their Governor Sisolak, he said, I'm gonna give Nevadans 2 weeks to bring cases down. If we do not bring cases down, we will be required to shut down. He's given them 2 weeks. That's the day before Thanksgiving. Just to give you an idea, Governor Sisolak, he tested positive for COVID yesterday. Yes, the governor tested positive. You think he's gonna take this lightly? No, he's not. Both Oregon and New Mexico are implementing their 2-week shutdowns as well. In Oregon, they will begin their 2-week freeze beginning on Wednesday. This means all businesses will be required to close their offices to the public and mandate work from home. This also means retail stores can remain open, but gyms, museums, pools, theaters, and zoos will be forced to close. Restaurants and bars will be limited to takeout only, and social gatherings will be limited to 6 people. This starts on Wednesday and goes for 2 weeks. This means it goes through Thanksgiving. If these mandates cannot be followed, the Governor Brown says, then violators will face fines and possibly arrests. And these are not the only governors that are threatening lockdowns, threatening modified shutdowns. Governors in many states such as New York, Maryland, Virginia, and Minnesota have taken steps to limit the spread of COVID. However, many experts believe the only way to eliminate the virus is to take the most drastic measures. It's hard to say, but that means full-scale lockdowns like Australia did. Just to give you an idea, because this is crazy, but it did happen. Australia planned to do a full-scale lockdown for 60 days. 2 months. 2-month lockdown, and we can go back to normal. However, Australia's lockdown actually extended to 111 days before they reopened, and now they're not seeing any cases. This is what we want to see. But to tell you the truth, Australia's economy was hammered. They were murdered because of this. However, when you give the people stimulus, you provide businesses with some stimulus, you provide states and local governments with stimulus, you can get through this pandemic. You can get through a lockdown. But if you do not provide the stimulus needed to go through a lockdown, then asking people to go through a lockdown is crazy. It's insane. This is one of the reasons why we're seeing so many cases. I read a report the other day that the chart was showing how as soon as the unemployment rate started dropping and the federal unemployment plus up ended, rates started to skyrocket. And it's simply due to the fact, this report was saying it was simply due to the fact that people knew they couldn't stay home. They had to go find jobs no matter what. It didn't matter what the cost was. They had to go and find employment. So because of that, they went to go find employment. They went back to work, risked their lives, and now are testing positive. This is not great news. But now that we're on the subject of Democrat governors, did you hear, okay? And I just want to say this, because Democrat governors right now, what reports are saying is that right now, they are looking at Joe Biden's COVID task force, this 12-member team, and they are supposedly getting advice from them. And these governors are doing this because that's predictably, or based on our reports and projections, that's who's going to be the president of the United States moving forward, will be Joe Biden. So they want to look and get advice from Joe Biden and what his administration is going to be doing. Not President Trump. If President Trump could even be available for a phone call, who knows? But they're going and getting information from Biden's administration. And because of this, many Democrat governors will likely start taking this advice and start to implement whatever Biden's administration is telling them. So if you live in a state with a Democrat governor, then be prepared. Oregon has a Democrat governor. Washington State has a Democrat governor. California, Democrat. So just be prepared. That's all I want to say. But again, now that we're on the subject of Democrat governors, again, I just want to ask you, did you hear about the Congressional Dinner that was put on last night? It was a dinner party for Democrat members of Congress to welcome their new members into the House and Senate. Well, many people got wind of this through Twitter, through Facebook, through Instagram. There was a post, okay? I'll put the post up. This picture just shows what was going to happen. Our leaders, our congressional leaders, were going to get in a room together. Everybody get in a room together, have dinner. Nancy Pelosi said it was safe. That it was safe. Their ventilation was improved. It's a 200-year-old building, but their ventilation is boosted. She also said that they got approval from the doctors. So it was ultimately okay. However, people were very upset about this. It was all over the news. It was all over Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. It was everywhere. The news picked up on this very quickly, and ultimately the dinner was called off at the last minute. And instead, members of Congress went to the Capitol, picked up their dinners in like dinner to-go boxes, and left. Now, I wanted to point this out because for the longest time, and it still happens, our leaders are telling us one thing. They're telling us social distance, wear your mask, do not hold large gatherings, but yet they're doing the exact same thing. They're doing what they're telling us not to do. So for me personally, I don't feel comfortable with our leaders doing something of this magnitude and then trying to sweep it under the rug as if they did nothing wrong and everything was okay. I get it. But it's because of stunts like this that the American people do not believe and cannot trust our congressional leaders. This is the issue. So, that's what we know as of today. But as always, as I know more, I promise I will come back and share more. I just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And as always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay updated. And I'll see you guys on the next one.